are busy with schedules, let me quickly show you how to do a room schedule. If you remember, when we did our ground floor, we added room tags. What we want to do now is actually schedule these room tags into a room schedule. What you do is you go to your project browser and you go down to schedules, or you can go to views and schedules. I'm just going to use that schedule there. You go down until you find rooms. There we go. And you say OK. Then you've got to decide which parameters or fields you want in your schedule. So we want number for room number. We want name for room name. We want area and floor finish. They will appear left to right, top to bottom. So we've got number first, name second, area, and then floor. I'm happy with that, but if you want to change it, you can just click on one and then just say move up, move down, delete or edit. So let's stick with this. Next, I'm going to move over to sorting, and we want to sort it by number. That means G1 to G10 or whatever it may be. And let's go OK. And there's our schedule. You can see room number. It's called number. You can change that by just clicking there and say room number. G1 to G8, living, passage, kitchen, dining, as we go down, our different floor finishes, and also the different areas. You can build these kind of schedules for anything, be that what kind of finishing schedules, skirtings, you name it. But for this demo, this tutorial, we're only going to do a room schedule. We're going to change that, or well, we can keep room schedule 01. And that's how you set up a very simple room schedule. Jumping back to roofs, let me show you how to quickly add detail to your roof edges. You go to architecture, you go to roofs, drop down, go to fascia. Select the edge that you want to add a fascia board to, or a barge board. You can do this in 3D as you see. And there you go, fascia is added. Now if you want to change, if you select the fascia and you would like to change the vertical or horizontal profile, you can do it there. So if you want to drop it by 50, you'll go -50, or lift it, or if you want it to extend out by 50, you'll go +50. If you want to set it back, that will be -50. With gutters you can do the same. You go to gutters. I want them to be offset, let's call that -25. And let's select the top, and then sorry, you have to select them and then go vertical -25. That will then move that down, and the same on this side. Go back, and this one should be ready. There we go. So that's a very quick way to add roof edge detail, be that gutter or fascia, and then how you can adjust them to get them exactly where you want. In the introduction I said that there are certain things that we're going to do in AutoCAD just because we are familiar with AutoCAD at this moment, and we're going to bring that into Revit to be part of the Revit set. One of those things would be an electrical layout. Now it's not that difficult to do it in Revit, but for now we're just going to stick to the basics. What we'll have to do is export our current floor plan to a AutoCAD format. So what you do is you go to ground floor, you go to, try again, export, CAD formats, DWG, you go next, you change that to the format that you want to use, you deselect export with Xrevs, give it a name. I'm going to call this floor plan for elec. And I'm going to save this. When you open your CAD file that you've just exported in AutoCAD, the first thing you want to do is switch off all the layers that you're not going to need. I'm just going to switch off cupboards there. Maybe that's a little bit too much. So undo. Okay. Copy your electrical symbols in and then do your electrical plan as you would normally do it. I'm just going to quickly throw a couple around. And the same will go for electrical points. I'm just going to just stick a couple in. And let's call that electrical plan. Give yourself a reference corner and just make sure that it's in the same layer as your electrical, and isolate your layer that you would call electrical, whatever that would be, with your base point. I would copy that, let's just say copy to clipboard, open a new drawing, project, open a new drawing, paste it and go file, save as, and call that demo CAD. I'm going to just save that down, save and done. To add another plan, which would be electrical plan, you would go to floor plans, ground floor level, right click, duplicate with detail. Go back, rename it, and let's call that ground floor electrical. Okay. Now, everything you don't want in this drawing, just simply either delete it or switch it off. So, dimensions, I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to say hard and category. Oh, I don't need that. I'll just delete those lines. Okay. And just to keep things clean, I'm going to delete the room tags, but normally you just move them around. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to remove them. Don't delete them, sorry, just hide them. Otherwise, you will delete them in your ground floor as well. So what you're going to do now is the same way that we imported the floor plan in the beginning. We're going to go to Insert, Link CAD. Now here you can link or import, depends on what you want to do. If you import it, you can explode it to become Revit lines, or you can just import it as a CAD file. So I'm going to go down. I'm quickly going to look for that file. This will demo electrical CAD. Now I actually want to change the colors to black and white, and make sure it's custom factor, and I want to have it current view only. What this means is when we did the site plan and the floor plan, we actually had that plan show up in all the views. Now we only wanted to show in electrical view. So we go ahead and say open. Let's scroll out a little. Say move. Let's use a line. We align it there, and we align it there. Let's quickly select it. So we've inserted the electrical file, but if you go to hard lines, it disappears. The reason for that is the CAD file is lower or in the background, and all the 3D elements that are in front of it covers it. So the way to get that back is to go back to wireframe and select your electrical plan, and to go to draw layer in the properties and just select foreground. Now if you go hard lines, your electrical plan would now be in the foreground. So that's the one way. The other way that you can do it is to import the layer, to select it, and then to explode it. If you explode it, it becomes Revit lines that you can change to your line weights in Revit. There's nothing wrong with doing that. The only problem is if it's a very large CAD file, it can really bog down your drawing. It can make it really big. So you can go either way. If you've got 2D details that you want to bring in, you bring it in the same way. If it's a small detail, you can actually bring it in and explode it so it becomes Revit lines, or you can keep it an AutoCAD drawing. The only difference is if you need to make changes, you have to change the CAD file and then refresh your link again. So that's the one negative thing. So that will be the easy way to bring CAD plans or information into your Revit drawing. This goes for drainage as well. If you want to do drainage or there's other things you want to do, I would say at this point you're comfortable with AutoCAD. Do those things in AutoCAD and just bring them in. As we learn more skill sets as we go along, it's actually going to be more troublesome to bring things in than to just do them here, and you'll start leaving AutoCAD behind more and more and move forward doing all these things in Revit. But for now, work the way that you're comfortable with. since this is a gable end roof, we know all the trusses are going to look exactly the same, so it's actually something that's very easy to model. The first thing I want to do is the spacing. I'm going to go to wall plate and I'm just simply going to draw detail lines to work out my spacing. So I'm going to go DL for detail lines, or you can go to annotate detail lines. I've got a line that I call construction lines. I'm just going to use that. I'm going to draw a construction line. That's not the one I want. You see what building line does. No. Center line construction. There we go. So this one, I want that to be 100 away from the wall. I'm going to select that line, change that to 100, select that and lock it. On the other side, we're going to go detail line. Going to do the same thing. Just going to match properties. Going to go dimension. Select. Change it to 100. Select it again and lock it. Okay, what I'm going to do now, so I'm going to select that line. I'm going to say copy that, 750. I'm going to select that. I'm going to say copy 50, and then going to select those three and say copy, and just copy them up. Perfect. Now at the moment they 750 from that side, but they're not equal. The last gap isn't the same. The way we're going to equal them, we know they are 750, so they're going to be less than 750 apart. You're just going to go to each one. We're going to say equal. And now we've got equal gaps all around, and we know that they're less than 750. So if you just check, they're all 735. Now, very important, when you model in Revit, you need to tell Revit what the plane is that you're going to be working in. So we're going to be drawing the truss in section and positioning it in section, but when we go to the section, it doesn't know which plane you want to draw it in. So that you've got to do, that you've got to add. You go to architecture, you go to reference plane, you draw it in front of your section because that's where you're going to be looking from. I'm just going to drop it over there. What you do then is you select it and you go to properties and you give it a name. I'm just going to call it truss 01. Okay, so from here on it's quite easy. You go to your section. What I would do if I go to the section view is I would quickly draw construction lines in using detail lines, just to make sure that when I start modeling the truss that it would actually be in the right place. So let's do that first. Let's go detail line. Construction is fine. We want to offset that by 38 because we know that our wall plate is 38 higher than the brickwork. construction line is actually the wrong one. Let's just select it and use that. Okay. That's more or less all we need from here. All the other things we can actually gather from the drawing while we're modeling. So we go to components, model in place, and down to roof. We can just call that truss 1 and extrude. Now it's asking you for a plane. You can say name, and the plane, reference plane we've just created, we're going to use, that's called truss 01. Okay, we're going to use the line tool. We're going to say extrusion 38 or 50. Let's call it a 38 thick truss, 114 by 38. So we want to draw from our construction line across let's just draw that again. There we go. And I'm actually going to use the underside of our roof. So I'm just going to select that line, that line. I'm going to offset by 114. There we go, and there. I'm going to use the slice SL slice command. Slice there, slice there. I'm going to use the trim command, TR. Gonna go across. And go finish. And there I've just done my truss. Remember once again to switch the little diamond off so it's not locked in that plane. So I hope it's off now. Yes. What we're going to do now is go to wall plate, and then we're going to find the one we've just drawn, and we're going to say MV for move. And we're going to move it all the way down to there. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about centering too much now. I'm just going to go CO, copy, and I'm just going to copy them each to the lines that we've drawn for spacing. Done. Now I'm going to select all of them and move them by 19. They should now all be centered. There we go. They should now all be centered. And if we go into our 3D view,